Houston from Storytellers Australia, and this is Always Be Connecting. Always Be Connecting is talking about relationships with 5 key audiences: prospects, clients, team, industry, and community. And today we're talking about non-for-profits. And if you think about non-for-profit, it's really interesting if you put yourself in their shoes that you realise quickly it's all about relationship building, because there is a lot of stakeholders and there's a lot of accountability. So I'm really pleased to be able to talk today to the General Manager of Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation, Colin Allen.
Hi, it's so great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. So Aubrey Blanche Serrano, who was a guest on an episode a few episodes ago, told me that a great opening question for a podcast is, what is your superpower? So let's start there.
What a great question. That is a great question to start a podcast with. I think my superpower is caring or is listening enough so people feel like we care about what they care about.
Yep.
So just being able to hear their goals and be able to act on it in a way that they feel heard and feel appreciated. Because I think what's different from our role than anything else is, while it's essentially a sales industry, right? Like, we're selling a product. This just happens to be a charity that we're selling, but it's a choice for everybody, right? Like, you don't have to give any money to charity. Nobody's upset with you if you don't give money to a charity. It's a personal decision. So somebody has to want to do that or believe in that, and then believe in you and enough to trust you with with their money to make that decision, right? So being able to listen and hear them and make them feel appreciated, I think, is how I've gotten to where I am in my career.
What a brilliant way to start with talking about listening, because you can enlighten us a little bit further into this of the pressure and the amount of stakeholders when you've got donors, sponsors, event organisers, all sorts of people going on and trying to remain true to a purpose and a vision in the centre of all of that. So what sort of things do you learn along the way of working at Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation to bring everybody in together?
I think we're really good at keeping our mission at our center, right? Which is healthy kids no matter what. So no matter what we do is trying to keep that idea that what we're working towards is better care, better treatment, a better hospital experience, which is never good for anybody. But if we can make it the best possible experience possible, then we're doing our job. So yes, we do have lots of stakeholders that we deal with, and I think you listed just about all of them, but there's more. Like, there's board members, there's clinicians, there's hospital executives, all right, there's the government, all those things that we have to deal with. But if we are true to ourselves and realize that we're doing this for the patient and for that family, and then, and those strategic goals of having the best hospital system in the world, then usually people understand where you're coming from.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit, because when you graduated university, you were living in America.
I am American,
perhaps? Yeah. And so you were working in sports organisations.
That's right.
Do you want to talk a little bit towards that and the sort of transferable skills that you found from working in sports?
Sure. Before I started working in nonprofits, I worked for a variety of different sports organizations. I worked in rugby league in England, worked for the Oakland Raiders in the NFL, worked in tennis, worked in action sports. And it's the same principles, right? Like, so you're meeting with, mostly corporate partners. You have a platform and you say, like, I think I can help you sell more widgets if you use our sports team as a platform. But it's the same idea, right? Like, you're getting to build trust with them, you're helping them solve a problem, and you're getting them to trust you with making an investment. It's a little easier because it's not their money, but it's it's their corporate money, but they have their own accountability, so you still have to build that same relationship. And so I did that for about 10 years, and then I had a hospital client with the Oakland Raiders, and we did some pretty amazing things with outreach and using the NFL team as kind of like that vehicle to do some great health promotion messaging. And I just kind of realized, geez, I really enjoy working with them. And if I do, why don't I do that full time as opposed to as one client? And at the end of the day, it's nice to raise money for sports. And it's a cool thing to say at the bar on the weekend. At the end of the day, you're giving millions of dollars to billionaire owners, and maybe there's a better use for that skill set. And so I started working for a nonprofit, and here I am on the other side of the world.
So sports organisations have quite a clear defined community in the fans and supporters. Is that as transferable in non-for-profits? Is it as well defined
I think
as
so.
the general manager?
I definitely think it is, especially in education, right? So you have your alumni, you have your parents, and you have your students, right? So it's all kind of in that little community, you know, like the Oakland Raider Nation, or I guess now the Las Vegas Raider Nation, right? Like it's fans of that team, right? Like you have fans of that school. I think with the Sydney Children's Hospitals Network, it's a little bit different because it has such a big impact, not only in the Sydney community, but across New South Wales and Australia. And some of the work that it does has a global impact. So you're reaching a much broader, you can reach a much bigger audience. And because you have a much bigger potential of people who might be interested in supporting you because of the impact that this network has.
Because a lot of people have had an experience.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, like I think
directly or indirectly.
Right. I mean, I think it's around 170,000 patients are seen through the network each year, right? That's a large, percentage of the population of New South Wales. But when you look at research and someone who finds a cure or different treatment for, and working with a family who lives in Germany, well, that now makes a global impact, right? And it's not necessarily someone who's come through the doors, but maybe someone who has supported a researcher who's then found a cure for that child's disease. And so now you're talking about making an impact for, hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And that's a kind of a cool thing to be able to do. So what's great for myself and the team is being able to research the potential people who might be interested in that and reaching out to them and say, hey, we know you care about this cause or this fits with your brand alignment.
Sure.
Right. And then using that as a vehicle in order to pick up the phone and start building that relationship.
So that was my next question, actually, is sort of taking it back to the sports, sort of more the business case for it. So if you think about how you did that in sports, how would you approach different people to create win-win-win-win situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all probably use data as the driver, right? Like in saying, like, this is what the fans of this team look like this. They're between this age group, this is their income, they live here, they drive this, they eat this, right? They shop here. And you can say, either you can build on this and you go to the same direct place, right? That they all eat at McDonald's. So let's use McDonald's as a reference. Or you can go to Burger King or Hungry Jack's and say, you're losing because these fans only know about McDonald's. Why don't you come here and tell a better story and come up with everything else, right? So there's two different ways you could go about it. And ideally, you would get them both interested and you could play them off each other and get a great deal for the team.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But then bringing that into non-for-profit, that becomes more nuanced.
Absolutely.
So walk through sort of the business case for people contributing to a non-for-profit.
Yeah, I mean, I think now there's lots of different reasons why you would make a donation, at least from a corporate side. From an individual side, I think I feel like it's more direct and personal, right? Like either maybe your neighbor has this disease or this incident, or we spent time in the emergency room, or your kid did, or maybe you just believe in this cause, or you're looking for some recognition, right? Like just as a way to kind of like increase your status. But I think for a corporate, I think you could do it for a couple of different reasons. Like you would be interested in it for a couple of different reasons. One, you want to show that you're aligned with the community, right? And what's better way to show that your connection to Sydney and making Sydney better than supporting the Children's Hospital, right? Makes Sydney a better place. Two, I think you could do it to make your employees feel proud to work there.
Yes.
Right? And say that we care about things beyond just the bottom line and everything else. And three, you can do the same thing with your shareholders and say, this is something that we care about. We're a different company. It's a point of differentiation out in the community as well. So
that's the sort of straight up exchange. But then also it becomes more interesting because you can tailor events, initiatives, sponsorship deals to different organizations. Do you have any examples of how there's been a specific event for a specific demographic in your supporters?
Yeah, I mean, I think our flagship event, Gold Dinner, last year raised $19.2 million to build a complex care center for children with really complicated medical needs at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. It was a whole floor out there and a new model of care, new equipment, new machinery, new clinicians, and everything else. And I think that was we did that with 400 people in the room. So we had to target the people who would be not only be interested in a specific cause, but would have the capacity in order to make that goal. Because the government, this was already beyond what the government had said that they could do as far as the redevelopment of that building. And so this was only going to happen because of philanthropy. And so that was done by individuals, it was done by corporations, it was done by foundations, and all coming together to make that happen.
I guess it's more of an understanding of partnerships and how to make things work and making sure that things are a success. Like not every business is able to ensure the success of a fundraiser at a higher level.
So I think with what we do and what I think the team at the Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation does so well is managing expectations, right?
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's something that we all have to do, whether you're a nonprofit or not, is manage that client's expectation of what we can do. But if someone says, look, we've only got $25,000 to spend, that team, the corporate team in particular, does an amazing job of sitting down with them and explaining, here's the best impact that you could have with $25,000. Right? Or if you care about this area, this piece of equipment, or you could help fund part of this person's salary and everything else, and being really clear on what we can do to do that, right? And sometimes it's a direct donation, sometimes it's a golf day, sometimes it's a gala event, right, or sponsoring a gala event that's that amount of money, right? Like, so it's all about trying to find the right fit for whatever their budget is or whatever they can do, but making it feel special. I do think one of our challenges is that we raise $90 million every year. And so we do have people who say, well, what is my $5,000 going to do? What is my $10,000 going to do? What's my $100,000 going to do? But I think we have so many different needs, and the hospital network has so many different needs, that if we can have that conversation with them and explain where each dollar goes to, then everyone can feel like they're part of this. And we talk about this a lot as a movement of many. There's 32,000 people who support the foundation each year. And it only works when all of us are coming together to make that happen, right? $90 million doesn't happen because of one person. It happens because of 32,000 people coming and trying to make it and believing in that we should have the best hospital system together. So everyone has a role to play. So I think as long as we can make that case, and I think we do a good job of it, then usually everybody feels like they have a role to play.
32,000 clients. If you look at it like that,
yes, I guess you could.
as supporters, that's a huge amount of people, huge amount of entities, stakeholders, whatever you want to call them.
It's a big responsibility for us, right? To have 32,000 people entrust us to make that decision out of their hard-earned income, to believe in us that they want to make a difference. Like, I think we all feel that weight each year, that we owe them to do the best job that we possibly can and make sure that they have an experience where they feel good about their decision. And
are there certain times where they want a very visible return?
Yes.
And what ways do you show that are economic for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's everything from a plaque on the wall to a tour, a coffee with a clinician, chance to meet our CEO. Low down on the list would be lunch with me, but I think it just is in general. It's just we just try to be as creative as we possibly can to say thank you, where they can see the impact of their gift, but also for us to have the chance to say we acknowledge the fact that you made this decision and we're very grateful.
So that's an interesting direction for the conversation, is the sort of the thank you.
Yeah.
So sort of beyond the sort of creative, are there more standard ways are there sort of initiatives that you run to show gratitude to the community?
Sure. I mean, we'll immediately after a gift, we send a thank you letter. Within 24, 48 hours, they get that. Most often they'll get a call. We do a couple of different thank you events each year where we invite everybody to come and see, to hear from us and see the impact over the entire year and everything that happens at the foundation, so they could see that in whether it's in video form or hear from a clinician in that way. And then depending on who they are, we do those other things, right? So that's where we do the tours or the coffees or the meet and greets and those kind of things, right? Obviously, you can't do 32,000 coffees a year, but we do make sure that everybody gets a thank you in some form or the other. I mean, I think that's probably 90% of our job is saying thank you, but that's a pretty good job.
So that's interesting. So we've got a bit of a sort of process forming from this conversation where listening is such a huge part of the beginning, and then there's an alignment an initiative and appreciation. Is there anything that you would add to that?
I think you covered it.
Yeah.
I think you're ready to work for us. That's good.
So you've got some long-standing people who have been contributing to Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation for a long time, and then I'm sure there's plenty that come fleetingly, or not insignificantly through the door as well. So how do you sort of manage those two streams?
Sure. I mean, I think especially with a children's hospital, there's going to be thousands of people each year who are giving one time, and right, they give it because their neighbor's going through something, or they took part in a fun run that year and everything else, and that and then they'll move on to a different cause. I think for us, if we just hope that if they decide to support something else, it's because they're interested in another cause, not because we didn't do our job of saying thank you. And so we want everybody to feel important. We'd like to get to know you and understand why you're making that gift. And if you would like to go on a bigger and more in-depth journey with us, we're very happy to do that with you. But we also understand that, sometimes it's just the right place, right time. And that's okay too. We just want you to know that we appreciate you thinking about us at that moment in time.
What other sort of sales and marketing initiatives do you work through with Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation, just in terms of making yourself known and making yourself aware to the community?
Yeah, I mean, we run two big appeals that are in market and work with different media partners, but at Christmas and at tax time. We have a couple of wonderful partnerships with the Sydney Swans and the Western Sydney Wanderers, and they help us tell our story a little bit. We are out there doing things like this, right, to kind of make sure that people know who we are. Obviously, everything we do every day, just going out and meeting with people helps spread that word. We do lots of EDMs and marketing and everything else. And I think the whole idea of all of that, right, is for someone to put up their hand and say, I'm interested in this. And then from then you go through the whole normal sales channel thing, right, of like, okay, if this person is interested in this, why are they interested in that? Let's find out more. And then we can kind of put them together and sit with either, someone who works in that area, is an expert in that area, and then help them find a way for them to make the donation or partnership that they're really interested in.
And then at the center of it all, of course, is the patients.
Yes.
So we can imagine some aspects of it, but what's the legacy of donating, and what's the important things that Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation do to support patients' families?
I mean, at the end of the day, that's all we do, right?
Yeah.
So, all the dollars that we raise, right, that we contribute back to the Sydney Children's Hospital Network are there to improve research. They're there to improve patient care. They're there to improve clinicians, right, to make sure that the hospital can hire fellows or support faculty that way. And then they're also there to make sure that the building is in the best shape it can be, right, so that it's as good of an experience visually and from a care perspective as possible. So I think the patient is always at the center of the hospital's work, right? And then our job is to support the hospital.
The legacy extends often beyond just the bricks and mortar, the patient care. There's also I've seen Sydney Children's Hospital do plenty of things for people who have been in hospital in the past, and they need a bit more support beyond their medical care, a more social care that comes out as well. So
yeah, I mean, I think one of the groups we probably love supporting the most is the child life therapist, right? So when someone's there in the hospital and needs music therapy or anything else, which is it's absolutely related to the care, but it's not medicine directly, right? But it does improve the experience and does help the family and everything else. And look, I think what I say a lot is, there's no way we're going to make this amazing experience being in the hospital. That can't be our goal. It can't be amazing to go to the hospital. Nobody should want to go there, but we can do the best that we can to make it as good as an experience as possible. And then I think we're doing our job as a foundation employee.
Because that holistic care as well multiplies the care.
I think so, right? I mean, I'm not a clinician, so I can't really tell you about like the factors of 10 that probably improves, right? But I can look at the designs for the new redevelopment and see that they're doing single family rooms all the way through. It just makes sense, right? Like it can't be enjoyable to be in a room with a bunch of other families while you're going through a traumatic experience. Like just having your own personal space to either have a moment where you can cry and not in front of everybody else, or just a moment where you can talk to your family and not have everybody else here. That feels like that's a better experience. They're building in desks in that new space, right? So like if you have to be there for a while, either your child can continue doing their homework so they're not as far behind in school, or if you're there as a parent, you could do a little bit of work as well, so you can feel like you're not letting your family down or whatever, however you might feel. But I do think it's that holistic idea, and going from as many people in a space as possible to thinking about each person as an individual, I think will make a real difference when these buildings open.
Amazing. And then Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation, you've got 5 key.
We do. So we fundraise for the Children's Hospital at Randwick, the Children's Hospital at Westmead, Bear Cottage in Manly, Kids Research, which underlines all of our care, and then the NETS, the Newborn Emergency Transport Service, which is statewide.
Yeah, amazing. And then how does a person listening to this engage with Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation, and what kind of expectation or value or message do you want to give them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit earlier that we do have a movement of many, right? So hopefully there's a place for you no matter what, so whether it's volunteering at one of our many walks and our big community events, or doing a neighborhood fundraiser, or if your kid is interested in helping, like we can help you set up a lemonade stand or whatever for your kid and help them give those tips, all the way to coming on and being a corporate partner and really buying in and saying, geez, Sydney's better because of having world-class care, and then I'd like to make sure that my company is supporting that. We'd love to talk to you about a partnership there. We have, like, as I said, every opportunity we think is pretty amazing, and so whatever level you're thinking, I'm sure we can find the right fit for you to feel like you're a part of this movement.
And it's interesting because it's not just checks.
No.
At the end of the day, I really like what you were talking about. Just walks, talking to each other and looking for opportunities, looking for ways to contribute. So there's a possibility for everyone in that sense.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if City for Surf is for everybody, because I couldn't do that run, but yes, you could. There's an opportunity for you to be part of this and supporting the foundation, either through volunteering and handing out water at the event, or running and asking your friends and family to support you. There's opportunities all the way through.
For any age as well. Yeah. So I've been to some events where I've seen volunteers, and there's young kids helping out, doing some good things.
I mean, I think our volunteer coordinator is second to none, and she's amazing. She comes up with amazing opportunities for people. But yes, we have school-age kids who come and help out at the gala events, right, and are around there interacting with donors. And we have people, like I said, at runs and walks on the sidelines helping out, or putting together a great after-event experience, so people feel like the people who did the run feel like they accomplished something or have a way to celebrate. And there really is something for everybody. And
so where can people find those initiatives? Is that on the website? Yeah, I think the best thing to do is go to our website, which is schf.org, and we'll give us an email or a call, and we'll connect you and make sure you talk to the right person. Follow on all those social media. Something for everybody. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And what about 2024? What was some big key events or hopes and dreams? Goals. Dreams. I should call them goals in the business world. Yeah, no. I mean, I think we have our flagship event coming up in May, our gold dinner, which is always a fun event year over year, in a new secret location. So we're excited about that. I think in general, we're just continuing to look at what's the biggest impact we can have on kids' health, right? And trying to make sure that we are being thoughtful and strategic as we go into our next strategic plan on what are the 3 to 5 really big problems that we can solve in children's health. There's so many different things, and we find ourselves in a really fortunate position where we have lots of supporters. So
outside of just, we want to make sure that we fund all the immediate needs, but what are the big future needs that we can move the needle on as well. So I think we're really excited about where we are in this place for the foundation and what it means for the next few years for us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Colin. That was really helpful. And I think it's interesting to think about it not only in terms of how businesses and individuals can look to support and create impact, but also like business lessons from non-for-profits. I really enjoyed the listen, align, and appreciate. And I think that just beautifully rolls over to all facets of life and business. And
well, you came up with it, so I'm going to steal it. So I'm glad you like it as well.
It's all marketing at the end of the day. Yeah, beautiful. So if you want to join the movement of many, please hop onto social media and follow Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation. They are doing great things. And thank you for listening.